Well, good morning, Buffalo. Brian Hayden here from Visit Buffalo Niagara. Welcome to our second episode of Buffalo Live. When you really think about what's going on in Buffalo in terms of our emergence as a tourist attraction, our historic sites and our architecture are being appreciated in new and exciting ways. We have old warehouses that are turning into breweries. Some of our old mansions and elaborate homes are now hotels and bed and breakfasts and places to stay. And here at Silo City has become one of the most popular spots to tour in Buffalo as well. So I'm here with Brad Hahn, Executive Director of Explore Buffalo. Brad, thank you for joining us here this morning.
Glad to be here.
So tell me about, what does someone see here when they come on a Silo City vertical tour?
So the Silo City vertical tour takes people up to the top floor of two of the historic grain elevator complexes here in Buffalo along the Buffalo River. So what you see around us are the interior mechanics that would have moved the grain around these massive complexes. At its peak, Buffalo was one of the largest grain ports in the world, moving about 300 million bushels of grain every year. And so this is the machinery that would have done all of that moving.
And so why were all these grain elevators put here? Why is there such a large collection of grain elevators in Buffalo?
Well, to answer this, we have to go back to the beginning of the Buffalo story, really in 1825, with the opening of the Erie Canal. And when the canal opened, all of a sudden we had a huge influx of lake ships coming to Buffalo's harbor filled with grain and other products, but mainly grain, and they needed to unload that grain so that it could then be put on canal barges because the lake ships were too big to make that journey along the original Erie Canal. So they would come here, unload it, and it would be stored here in Buffalo. And originally all that moving was done by hand, and it was mostly Irish dock workers who would go into the hold of the ship, scoop out some grain, carry it out over and over again, until 1842 when Joseph Dart invents the grain elevator so that we can move all of this mechanically instead of by hand. And this enables Buffalo to grow even larger and move even more grain as we move throughout the 19th and into the 20th century.
So how many grain elevators are there in Buffalo?
So currently there are 13 still standing in the city. The most well-known, of course, is one still in operation, which is the General Mills plant that produces Cheerios and gives our city that wonderful sweet aroma on many mornings if you're in downtown. And then there are many other grain elevators that are not still in use, but some are being converted into other uses, such as here at Silo City, which is turning into an arts and culture destination along the waterfront.
And it's really something to see that further down the river at the connecting terminal, there's a nightly light show on one of the grain elevators. Riverworks is turning into a craft brewery later this summer, and Silo Ruins are turning into a beer garden. What do you think, why are these structures, why have they become such a popular part of the Buffalo experience?
Well, this truly is Buffalo. This is one of the most uniquely Buffalo places that you will find. You're not going to go to any other city in the country or even in the world and experience views such as this one.
Right. And so, how often do you run your tours, the Silo City Vertical Tours?
So during the summer, the Silo City Vertical Tour is usually a couple of times a week. So we do it either in the morning, or starting in June, we add a sunset option when we do it in the evening. We actually set up dinner here along the dock, so it's a great evening to spend along the water. And for those who don't want to take the stairs all the way to the top or are afraid of the heights up here, we also have a ground level walking tour option as well.
So when someone's walking through the elevator, what's some of the machinery that they see?
So what they're going to see is a lot of conveyor belts. That's, again, how they moved all of the grain around. Once they moved away from carrying it on baskets on their backs, they started to use conveyor belts, either vertical belts with buckets attached to them, or on horizontal belts, some of which we saw up here. We also see the massive scales that they would use to weigh the grain, and a lot of the other machinery, again, moving the grain around. You're really inside of a giant machine is what you're doing when you're walking around these buildings.
And so you're also partnering now with Elevator Alley Kayak in terms of being able to see these structures from the water as well?
Absolutely. So we have kayak tours along the Buffalo River. There's actually one out right now on the river this morning, although I don't think we can see them. I think they're a little bit further up the river. We're doing those on weekend mornings, starting again in June. We'll be adding sunset tours, and starting in June as well, we're also going to have a new Paddles and Pints option, which will include a beer at Gene McCarthy's after the tour.
Well, very exciting, Brad. It looks like it's going to be a great summer here down in Silo City.
It's going to be a lot of fun here.
Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Folks, it's just the beginning of the touring season. Really hope you can get down here and see a truly unique slice of Buffalo history. So for Visit Buffalo Niagara and Buffalo Live, I'm Brian Hayden, and we'll see you next time.